This is the Louie Tee Network.
I'm ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
Overtime! So we head to overtime.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie Tee? Welcome to Sunday Night Football Overtime. Week number 14 in the National Football League. Dallas Cowboys, 11-game winning streak on the line, trying to handle a little bit of NFC East family business. If these two teams said they ain't did it, then they ain't did it. But if they did, well, that's family business. New York Giants, the team that was the last to defeat this Cowboys team before they started their 11-game winning streak, first game of the season, looking to end that streak. Giants, remember, 6-game winning streak snapped by the Steelers a week ago. A lot of questions as to who have you played? Are you serious? Are you trying to get in? And so this is a big game for them as well. So a lot of storylines, a lot of details and layers to peel back from this game, man. I was fascinated. Again, being an NFC East guy, of course, I'm going to be a little bit more intrigued than most, but I was fascinated by the way this game played out. Some of the things that I saw, some takeaways. Don't overreact to this game, but there were some things to take away from both teams in this game that I think moving forward could be some things to watch out for as you see some of these other teams. It's a copycat league. You know how this goes now. Everyone doesn't have the personnel the Giants have, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But before we jump into this breakdown, because there are a lot of things that I want to discuss in this breakdown. I know there are some things that you guys out there want to discuss as well. Before we jump into this breakdown, make sure that you subscribe, if you haven't already done so, to the Louie Tee Network on YouTube for more great content in 2016 and beyond. Look, we changing the game over here. I want you to help us do that by simply subscribing to Louie Tee Network on YouTube. Also, I'm on Twitter. @InTheLabRoom is the Twitter handle. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter, and I'm also on Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. Go ahead and give me that like as well while you're there. Look, all my social media platforms right there in that box scrolling up in the corner. You can't miss them. Go ahead and do what you need to do. Subscribe to the Louie Tee Network on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter and like the Facebook page, both of them in the Lab Room. So let's jump into this breakdown. We start with the Giants in this game. As they were able to get it done, move their record to 9-4 on the season. And with this win, they don't all but secure a wild card spot, but they've taken a huge step in ensuring that they're going to be part of the 2016 NFL playoffs with this win. This is a big win, and this gives them a little bit of breathing room between the teams trying to get in and the team that already is in there in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So what you in effect have done here, if you're the Giants, is said, look, you put yourself in a position where all you got to do is win one more game and you're in for the most part. I mean, get to 10 and then you're going to make it tough on all these other teams that's trying to get into the postseason. So this is a big, big win for the Giants. And I've talked about, you know what, let's take a step back with this Giants team. Let's talk about what we thought they were going to be going into the season. Because I think this game opens up a number of different avenues and questions as to, and I think it answers some questions as to, was the money well spent in the offseason? Okay? I think we knew what you were getting out of Snacks Harrison. Damon Harrison, I think we felt like the money was well spent early in the season. You look at Olivier Vernon. The sacks weren't always there, and they're not there, but if you watch this Giants football team, what he does in the run game and what he does in terms of applying pressure, he doesn't get the sacks, but he does, and it's not always about sacks in this league. It's about being disruptive. And as a pass rusher, he's disruptive. He gets to the quarterback. He doesn't, like I said, get a ton of sacks, but he does make life living hell out there against the other team's best tackle most games. He's not a guy that moves around very often. You know where to find Olivier Vernon for the most part. And he holds He holds his ground. He holds his own against the league's best at the left tackle position. So that's money well spent there. I think he's dynamite, one of the better defensive ends at setting the edge in the run game. And then JPP, he's going to be done for the season after having the herniated disc surgery, but he was playing some good football as well. And that's homegrown products. So you don't mind spending money on your stuff. And then the one that we all questioned, I don't want to speak for anybody else. The one that I questioned was Janoris Jenkins. Didn't think he was going to be worth the money. Didn't think that was money well spent. And he's proven to be the missing piece in that secondary. I like, and of course, Landon Collins maturing the way that he has. I think Landon Collins should be in the discussion for Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think he'll win, but I think he should be in that discussion. He's been that good for the Giants this season. We know what DRC is. When healthy, DRC is one of the better corners in the league. Quietly, no one talks about him. But DRC, when healthy, one of the best corners in the league. And then you get Janoris Jenkins playing the way that he's been playing this season. And I was flat out wrong about him. I thought Janoris Jenkins was going to be not necessarily a bust. I told you he's not garbage. I just didn't think he was going to be worth the money that he commanded by the Giants. Thought they had overspent for his services. I was wrong. He's earned every penny of that contract thus far with his play on the field. And it's because of his ability to play that kind of coverage on one side. Eli Apple's development, and again, this is where all these draft picks, Jerry Reese and company doing a hell of a job of assembling all of this stuff, whether it's free agency, draft picks, you name it. These guys are starting to gel together. Even Leon Hall, quiet acquisition no one's talking about from the Cincinnati Bengals, an aging veteran that can play this game. When healthy, Leon Hall, a really steady presence in that secondary as well. The Giants have it going now. I think the linebacking core doesn't scare anybody, but the front four and that secondary are the linchpins of this defense. And because of this defense, this Giants team is scary down the stretch and into the postseason potentially if they make it, because this defense, and you saw it tonight, and you've seen it for the most part this season, even when the offense, and I got some things to say about this Giants offense, and we'll talk about the offense in a second, but even when this offense isn't good, this defense is going to give them a chance most weeks because this is a good defense. No, seriously. It's a really good Giants defense. And I've watched them mature over the life of this season. Even when they were struggling earlier in the season, I thought that when they lost to Green Bay, before we thought Green Bay was struggling, we didn't know what was really going on, that defense was good. They played against the Packers. They made Aaron Rodgers look ordinary that night. And I said, man, this Giants defense, these guys look like they might be on to something. And as the season wore on, you started seeing guys step up, make plays. Eli Apple, once he was healthy, started to come along. And you said, man, another guy that I was wrong. I was not an Eli Apple guy coming out of Ohio State. Another guy that I was flat out wrong about. He's playing outstanding football. So you put all these guys together, and all of a sudden now, you gain confidence. And we can sit here and talk about it. You know how I feel about winning in this league. I don't give a damn who it's against. I don't care that it's the Browns. I don't care that it's the Bears. I don't care that you beat the lower level teams in this league. Win games, because you know what winning does? Winning begets confidence. Confidence begets winning. It's a vicious cycle. That's why the Cowboys won 11 games in a row, because it's infectious. When you win, you become confident. When you become confident, you expect to win. It is a beautiful thing. And with the Giants' 6-game winning streak, not only did they win games and stockpile W's, they also gained confidence. And they gained confidence more likely on the defensive side than the offensive side. And you're seeing that because I'm not impressed with this Giants offense. Haven't been, never have been this season. But this defense has come a long way. And you see what the final product looks like. The final product looks like tonight. Okay, the Giants took a Cowboys offense that has been lethal all season long. And even last week, the Cowboys struggled against Minnesota, but they didn't look as bad last week as they did tonight. They looked ordinary. Dak Prescott looked human tonight. Zeke Elliott had another 100-yard rushing, but it wasn't one of those explosive 147-yard, 2-touchdown performances. okay? Especially in the second half. He did most of his damage in the first half. 86 yards on 15 carries in the first half. Second half, he may have had all of 30 yards rushing. I don't even think he hit that many, to be honest with you. I think they really put the clamps down on him in the second half of this game. And so the credit for this W goes to the Giants defense. And I'm going to tell you this much. That's a unit that you should be afraid of coming down the stretch of this season. Again, if you can score points and you can do a little something on defense, you can beat this Giants football team. We saw the Steelers do it last week. But just know you're going to be in for a dogfight because this Giants defense is good. They got it done tonight. You look at this offense. Let's talk about this Giants offense in this game. The Giants offensively in this game, they struggled. And let's start with the run game. I actually was surprised because we've seen the Giants over the life of this season under head coach Ben McAdoo not run the football a ton. That's just not what they've been. They've been a pass-happy team. They haven't run it a ton. And I think now they've gained confidence in rookie Paul Perkins, who I really like out of UCLA. And they're giving him an opportunity to run it a little bit more. And it was effective tonight. And so if they can start to run the football a little bit, maybe they'll be on to something. It's a shame that Shane Vereen comes back and the very first time he touches it, he gets a concussion and he's out again. We'll see how long he's out for, but I thought they did some okay things, but this was a game of missed opportunities for both teams. Let's start with the Giants and some of the missed opportunities in this game. Early in the game, I want to say second possession of the game, maybe even third possession of the game. I think it was the third possession of the game. Odell Beckham Jr., shame on you if you step to the old dirty Beckham. Drops a big deep ball that I don't know if he scores necessarily on because Carr had his hand on him, but he's at least down to the 2 or 3 yard line. Easy. Drops it. Eli Manning has an opportunity to hit a wide open Roger Lewis Jr. in the end zone. And he just drops the football and fumbles. Unreal. And I'm going to tell you right now, Eli Manning is a clown. We're going to get to Eli's ass in a second. Eli's a clown. All right, but he just fumbled the football. The first 9 possessions of the game for the Giants sounded like this. Punt, 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 fumble, punt, punt, fumble, punt, punt. Okay? You're not going to win a ton of games doing that. And luckily enough for them, the defense rose to the occasion. Because those fumbles were some critical, crucial fumbles. The type that can change ball games. And the defense stood up and gave them an opportunity in this game. But Eli should have thrown 3 picks in this game. Barry Church dropped 2 picks, and we'll talk about that when we get to the Cowboys. And Justin Durant had an opportunity at a pick. His was a little bit tougher, but he still could have caught it. What the hell is Eli doing? I don't know. I don't know what the hell Eli's looking at sometimes. That one potential pick to Barry Church on the sidelines that Church hit the ground and the ball came out. What the hell are you doing? What are you looking at? That's how you lose football games. You were supposed to lose this game. Eli was trying to give this game away. Eli turns his back late in the game and throws it right to Justin Durant. If Justin Durant had a set of hands, that's a pick. Cowboys are already in field goal range, and you probably lose this game. What are you doing, man? You're too old for that, bruh. Come on, man. Got to be more careful. You got to watch Eli, man. That dude is the F up. I'm telling you right now. I don't trust his ass at all. But luckily enough for him, guys weren't able to make plays. They get away with it in this ball game. That slant to Odell Beckham. I told you about ODB, man. Dude, he is one of the most electrifying players. Someone asked me during one of my telecasts, who are the 3 players that are, must-see players in the league? Guys that when they touch the football, it's a show. It's an event. You got to see what's going on. I talked about Tyreek Hill for the Kansas City Chiefs. I talked about Odell Beckham Jr. of the Giants. And David Johnson is another guy for me that is just electrifying. Every time, you got to watch him because at moments notice he can change the game. Julio Jones, I might even put him above David Johnson because of the dynamic ability there. But Odell Beckham Jr., unlike any other player in the league, there's a gear there. Like, Tyreek Hill is fast. Like, from start to finish, fast. With Odell Beckham Jr., there's a one-step acceleration where if there's just a shred of daylight, I'm talking about the tiniest bit of daylight, and he hits a seam, catches the football in stride, forget about it. You're not catching him. And that's what you saw on that slant. The minute he caught it, I told my dad, he's gone. Hey, boss, he's gone. And he said, yeah, he's gone. Ain't nobody catching him. It's that acceleration. You saw it against Cleveland. You've seen it time and time again this season where he just catches a simple slant. You saw it against Philadelphia. Simple slant. No, it's nothing fancy. But Eli gets it to him where he can catch it in stride and he can go much faster than slow. And that was the difference in the game. He dropped a ton of passes in this game. Ones we've seen him. I talked about the deep ball drop. Dropped one on a third down. We've seen this guy be dynamic. This was the first time that I saw him just flat out blatantly drop passes. But he made up for it with that big catch and run for 61 yards and a touchdown, which ended up being the game-winning score. We did not know at the time that there would be no more points in the game, 10-7. But it was a huge play. And that's what this guy can do at the blink of an eye. At moment's notice, he can change the game. And he did that in this game. But make no mistake about it, this was a defensive win by the Giants. And Eli Manning, I tell you what, man, I don't trust that dude at all. At all. But they got it done in this game. And that's part of the reason why Ben McAdoo, I think, took the air out of the football at the end. Not only did he want to force the Cowboys to use their timeouts, but he was like, hey, Eli might try to throw a pick, man. I don't trust him. I don't. And I did not blame him. Thought he made the right decision to punt at the end. I was saying, look, it doesn't make any sense to kick the field goal. Robbie Gould is not a trustworthy kicker. You can't kick the field goal there. You have to either go for it or you got to punt. And I didn't like the fact that they only tried to give the cadence once, that hard count once. Cowboys weren't going to jump on one try. You needed to get up to the line a lot sooner and give them the appearance that you were really trying to go for this thing. And I never felt like they were going to go. And the delay of game and then the subsequent punt I thought was the right decision. How about Okwa, the defensive end filling in for JPP? I thought he had a really good showing in this game. Thought he got some pressure. Thought he was okay in the run game. He can get better there, and he will. But I thought he showed some quickness off the snap, beating Looney when they brought him in the game as an extra offensive lineman. Thought he beat Doug Free a couple of times. I thought he flashed a little bit for the Giants, and that's a positive sign because you're going to miss JPP, but maybe you find and unearth a gem here with this injury. Opportunity for another guy. Injury breeds opportunity. See if he can take advantage of it and be a guy that could potentially change the game for you down the stretch in this season. Giants get it done 10-7. Again, I did not anticipate this game being low scoring like this and being a defensive struggle the way that it was. Cowboys defense played well in this game. Speaking of which, let's talk about the Cowboys in this game. This game, to me, was eerily similar to the Minnesota game a week ago. The difference to me in the outcome was Cowboys didn't force that one turnover and take advantage of it. Like last week on Thursday night, they forced that one fumble on a punt, and they took advantage of it, and they won the football game, was able to hold on. They had opportunities in this game. Make no mistake about that. Eli fumbled. You had 2 fumbles, as a matter of fact, and you didn't take advantage of those turnovers. Now, I thought there were more opportunities to create turnovers. I talked about that already. And they didn't take it. And I do want to mention this about the Giants. They blitzed the draws off of Dak Prescott. They heated that man's ass up. They put him in the microwave, put it on defrost, and they heat his ass up. Okay? And To me, that's what you do to a rookie quarterback. You don't let him stand back there and survey and scan the field. You don't sit back there and allow that man to be comfortable. Why do you think he's been so effective this year? That offensive line has protected him. Teams have been scared to come after him, and he's been picking teams apart. Dez isn't open. I'll look at my second read. He's not open. Cole Beasley's open, so I'm going to get it to Cole. Or Cole Beasley's my second option, my second read. I'm going to throw it to him. Jason Witten's open. I'm going to throw it to him. He's had time to survey the field and figure out what he wants to do, dust the football off, shiny up the NFL logo on the ball, put a signature on it, then throw it. The Giants said, man, we ain't having none of that now. We coming after your ass. And that's what they did, and it was effective to the point that at the end of the game on the final drive, Dak Prescott was scared. There's an out route to Jason Witten wide open, no pressure. Airmails it, 3 yards over the Witten's head. Gets pressured on second down to Dunbar. Easy over the middle of the field. If he completes that, Dunbar's going to run either for a first down or get 9 and it's 3rd and 1. Instead, throws it 4 yards over that man's head. Pressure does that to you. It changes everything. And my biggest thing is, with a rookie, speed up the process. They want to slow the game down. When you're a rookie, everything is moving so fast at lightning speed. Because the game changes. The rate of speed changes. The athletes on the field change. Everything changes speed-wise. They want to slow it down. And when you don't pressure a rookie quarterback, you allow them to slow the game down. They can go through their reads, their progressions, and make the right decision. You don't force turnovers that way. When you heat a quarterback up, when you put the pressure on them, you speed up the process. And you make them make decisions quicker than they want to, and that's when you get incomplete passes. That's when you get forced throws. That's when you get turnovers. You want to know why Dak Prescott was 19 up, 2 down coming into this game? No pressure. Some of that is on that line. They do an absolute magnificent job of protecting him. But a lot of that is teams' inability to bring pressure because they're scared. And not everybody has the Giants personnel. Like, everyone can't do what the Giants did tonight. The Giants were coming with 5 and 6 and at times 7-man pressures. You know how you can do that? When you got 3 dudes that can cover man-to-man on the outside. Know why Des Bryant didn't have any meaningful catches in this game? Because his ass was getting locked down, and you don't have to worry about traveling with one corner on him. Eli can play some corner. DRC can play some corner. Janoris Jenkins can play some corner. Hell, if you need to in a pinch, you can have old man come down and play some corner that you put in at the safety position from the Cincinnati Bengals, who had a pick. So you got options. Not everybody has 3 corners. Not everybody goes 3 deep in the arsenal and say, hey, we can play man-to-man across the board. Come get some. They did that. And that's why they were able to come after Dak and not feel worried at all that he was going to beat him on the blitz. Because every single one of their corners can cover man-to-man. That's a luxury that most teams don't have. And that's why everybody can't shut down this Cowboys offense. But the Giants have the weaponry to do so. And I thought it affected Dak Prescott tonight. They came after him. And the difference between, let me get back to my initial point, the difference between last week's game versus the Vikings and this week's game, Dak's usage of his legs. Last week against the Vikings on Thursday night, he wasn't afraid to run. I told you, the biggest drive of the game, 3rd and 12, he runs for 14, gets the first down against the Vikings last week. He wasn't running anywhere tonight. They weren't having it. And he didn't feel comfortable getting out of the pocket. And I was telling my dad, I said, hey, look, boss, he reminds me of Kirk Cousins because your line spoils you to the point where you don't have the internal clock going off where you need to get the hell out of the pocket. You're used to having time. So you don't have to run anywhere. Kirk Cousins does the same thing. He was sitting in the pocket. You're like, Kirk, get out of there. Kirk, get out of there. Like he did against Arizona last week and took a sack and fumbled the football. Get out of there. But when you're protected, you're used to standing in there and having time. And that wasn't the case tonight. They were coming after him. They were blitzing. There were times where that Cowboys line stood up to the blitz and picked it up perfectly, gave him time. And he still wasn't accurate with the football because of the pressure. And this probably was Dak Prescott's words. Not probably, it was. Okay? He doubled his interception total tonight. Obviously his worst game. Completion percentage was in the dumps. He was inaccurate all night. 2 turnovers, which is uncharacteristic of him. Fumbled another time. Luckily, Doug Free was able to get on the football. It was a rough night for Dak Prescott. He struggled. He didn't use his legs. He wasn't seeing the field well. Forced it into double coverage, threw a pick. He struggled tonight. It was a rough night for him. Dez falls down on a slant and boom, pick. It was a rough night for Dak Prescott, and give credit to that Giants defense. They came after his ass. Steve Spagnuolo said, we're not sitting back. We're not going to let you carve us up. You're going to beat us. You're going to beat us with us emptying the clip. Because we got all guns blazing right now. We coming after you. And they heated his ass up, and it worked to perfection. Ezekiel Elliott did what Ezekiel Elliott does. He went over 100 yards. In the first half, he looked like a man that was going for about $150. 86 yards at the halftime break. But second half, I think the Cowboys kind of went away from the run a little bit, but it was more of the Giants putting them in third and long situations and taking a run away. The Cowboys do a really good job, an excellent job actually, of on first and second downs, running the football and being effective in that they set up third and shorts or get the first down on the first 2 downs. That wasn't the case. And then when you start sprinkling in the occasional penalty, which I thought the Cowboys killed themselves all night long with penalties on special teams. How many times Cole Beasley had a huge punt return? And I want to say it was in the third quarter that would have set the Cowboys up with great field position. It might have even been right before the half. But either way, big punt return negated by a penalty that pushes them back. And that was the story of the night for the Cowboys on special teams. If they fielded a kickoff or a punt, most likely there was a penalty attached to it that put them back inside the 30, inside the 20 when they were going to have some solid field position. So it's a rough night for them on special teams. And then missed opportunities, to me, was the reason they didn't win this game. You had opportunities to change the game. Eli Manning was feeling very generous. He was in the holiday spirit, man. Eli was in a giving mood. Caring is sharing, and Eli was in a very caring mood tonight. He was trying to give it away, and the Cowboys said, no. We refuse to take your kind gestures. We're not doing that tonight, man. You're very kind, but we don't want any turnovers. We don't want any picks. Eli was trying to give them away. Barry Church dropped one play. The Giants rush up to the line. Eli's rushing up to the line like he's Aaron Rodgers, like Cowboys are trying to substitute, and he's about to catch him with 12 men on the field. They snap the ball, and Eli throws it into double coverage like he's got a free play. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And it's crazy. 2 seconds after I said that, Chris Collinsworth says, what is Eli Manning doing here? And I said, I just said that, Chris. Great question, because I want to know. Explain to me what he was doing. And he's like, I don't know what he was doing here. Threw it into double coverage. And Barry Church dropped the football. There's another play. Eli rolls out and confidently throws it to the sideline. I'm like, okay, Victor Cruz or Odell Beckham Jr., they're coming back to the sideline for a comeback route for about 12 in the first down. All I see is 42 running to catch the football by the side. I said, oh, hell. What in the hell did Eli just do? Barry Church drops the football. That was the game changer right there. That was the one that was going to lead to a victory, because if he picks that off, it's 1st and 10 from about the 30-yard line. You're getting either a Dan Bailey field goal out of that, which would have tied the game up, or you're going in the end zone and you're getting a 14-10 lead, and you probably win the game 14-10. The way Eli was playing, he was not going to lead them down the field and score a touchdown. That being said, he dropped the ball again, his second drop for Barry Church in this game. And then finally, Justin Durant. Look, it wasn't the easiest catch. You're a linebacker. I know you don't have the greatest hands in the world, but that's a game-winning play. That's a game-changing play. You want to win, got to make that play. Eli threw it right to him. Turns his back, turns around, and confidently throws it to the wrong team, man. Eli does it better than anybody else in the league, confidently throwing it to the wrong team. Like, Eli will make you, because, on the TV copy, you can't see the other side of the field, so you don't know when you're at home, because the camera doesn't catch up until the ball gets there, who he's throwing it to. But Eli confidently, he sells you on the fact that he's throwing it to a teammate. Okay? He's throwing it to the same color jersey until you see where the ball's going. You're like, what the was that? Eli will sell you a dream, man. I'm throwing it to my teammate. Cowboys had opportunities in this game. They did not take advantage. They had some great field position in the first half off those turnovers. Didn't take advantage. They had opportunities in this game. And unlike last week where they were able to capitalize, they didn't in this game, and it cost them. You know, the offense had an off night. And the defense, I thought they were outstanding in this game. This defense, they have their days. And look, this Giants offense isn't very good. So I don't want to sit here, and I talk about not overblowing things. Don't overblow what the Cowboys did defensively in this game, because for the second consecutive week, they've played a bad offense. The Vikings offense is bad. This Giants offense is pretty bad, okay? If you've got a potent offense, they're going to give it up defensively. Sean Lee was a man possessed tonight. He's just playing at a different speed than everybody else. I mean, he looks like Luke Kuechly Jr. out there. Man, is he good. When he's healthy, he's one of the best in the league, and you saw it tonight. They're getting better up front. Early in the game, Jack Crawford was a handful over there. Bobby Hunt was struggling with him, and they're starting to come along on that defensive line. Or excuse me, Jack Crawford, Tyrone Crawford. They're starting to come along, all the Cowboys defensively. And even the young boy, that pick by Anthony Brown, my goodness, that was a thing of beauty. He ran the route for Victor Cruz. Victor Cruz. You got to come back for the ball, Victor Cruz. He didn't come back for the ball. That's why Eli was pissed. Like, bruh, you got to come back for the ball. You can't leave me out high and dry like that. He didn't come back for the ball. That was a hell of a pick, and it took points off the scoreboard. Big play by Anthony Brown. It was an opportunity. Get a little more momentum there on the pick. Go do something. They didn't do anything. Des Bryant fumbles at the end. I thought that was the perfect way to end the night of missed opportunities. You know, you fumble that football. You don't get that catch at the end. Cowboys had opportunities. Give the Giants some credit, man. They made plays in this game defensively. Cowboys, it just won't their night tonight. You know, and this is not an indictment on them. Oh, they're this, they're that. They're still a 11-2 team, okay? 11-game winning streak snap. They're still fine. Let's not go crazy here. Not everybody has the Giants defense. I'm telling you, the Giants quietly are one of the better defenses in the league, straight up. Because of their ability to match up man to man. Like, that's a lost art in this league. Everybody wants to play zone because they don't have guys that can play man to man. The Cowboys are used to having Cole Beasley win immediately. The Cowboys are used to Jason Witten sitting down in zone and winning. The Cowboys are used to Des Bryant running on 3rd and 9, a 15-yard dig route and being wide open over the middle of the field. That changes when everybody across the board can lock up and they can send 6 guys on a blitz and speed Dak Prescott up and make him make a quicker decision than he wants to in an inaccurate throw. Not everybody's got that. There are only a few teams, a handful of teams in the league that can match up across the board, play man-to-man, and bring pressure behind it. Not everybody can do that. And so, easier said than done. Giants got it done in this game, 10-7. What a game, 10-7. Who would have thought that before this game started, 10 points would be enough to win? Cowboys score early, but don't score often, as they drop their first game since week 1 to this same Giants team. And now what this does is it puts the Cowboys in a position now where they just need to win one more game. Just one more game to basically put this thing out of reach in terms of the division. However, it does put pressure on them now with Tampa coming up on Sunday night, who's on a 5-game winning streak. The pressure's on the Cowboys now because a Giants win next week, coupled with the Cowboys loss, and all of a sudden you're talking about a 1-game lead in the division. And remember, tiebreaker goes to this Giants football team because they swept the Cowboys. So I don't see this happening, but anything's possible. You know, one loss we're going to see, because we haven't seen the Cowboys in this kind of mode where they have to respond to a loss. We haven't seen that since week 2. since they played the Redskins after losing to the Giants in week 1. So it's been 3 months since they've had to respond to a loss. So how do they handle this? We don't know. We don't know. So we're going to see if they bounce back, beat the Bucs, all is forgotten, all is forgiven, or do they take this loss and spin it into another loss next Sunday? We're going to find out. We're going to see. But for the Giants, doesn't get any easier for them. Still got a lot of tough football ahead of them. Still got the Lions. Still got another game with the Redskins. So it still got another game with the Eagles. So it's still tough. Still family business ahead. But this was a huge win for the G-Men. Not only does this, I don't want to say solidify them in the wild card, but it really gives them the inside track to holding on to one of those 2 wild cards in the NFC. But it also gives them an outside shot at the NFC East championship. It's a long shot, but it's nonetheless a shot that really wasn't on the table before this game started. So let's get to some of your comments in this game, as I'm dying to hear what you guys have to say on the outcome of this matchup. So let's get to your comments and hear what you guys got to say, because I was fascinated with this game. Me being an NFC East dude, I was at the edge of my seat the whole entire game. Let's see what you guys have to say. Disco Jump Rope says, do you think the Cowboys are a little overrated? And I'm sorry, I know my man AK dropped a couple of comments on me at the beginning. I might have missed some comments. This is the first comment that they're allowing me to see. So it might be so many comments here that I'm unable to get to the ones that were there before. So if you posted something earlier, make sure you use, if you're out there, you want your comment read, or you got a question and you want it answered, make sure you're using the hashtag LouieTeeLive. If you don't use the hashtag LouieTeeLive, your comment is going to get skipped over because it's not going to show up in blue on my screen. So make sure you're using the hashtag LouieTeeLive if you want your comment read. That being said, if I skipped over your comment from earlier because I've gotten so many comments that it washed away the ones that were at the top, come back with it. Use the hashtag and repeat it, and I'll come back and get you. So, Disco Jump Rope says, do you think the Cowboys are a little overrated? No, I don't. This is a good football team, a stellar offensive line, the best in the business, a dominant running back, a rookie quarterback that takes care of the football. But you see what you have to do to them, but everybody can't do what the Giants did, and that's why I said, don't take this as a situation that's, oh, this just throw a blanket over it. Everybody can do this. Blueprint. This is what you do to the Cowboys. Because everybody can't heat the Cowboys up and come after Dak Prescott and have the coverage in the back end to match the pressure that you're applying on the front end. Not everybody can do that. You can blitz, but you can also get beat blitzing. And if you're not good and you can't cover, then it's not going to do you any good to come after them. So, no, they're not overrated. They're fine. And I tell you this, the defense actually looked half decent tonight. And so, second week in a row. And again, I know the offenses that they've played the last 2 weeks haven't been the best. They haven't been stellar or dynamite offenses, but you still got to go out and stop them, and they did that. So, no, they're not overrated. Argenis Luguardo says, hey, Louie, it's official. The Giants have a top 5 defense in the league. Agreed. We need a new left tackle. Flowers is making me rip my hair off. Is the Giants defense a legit contender? Yes. This Giants defense is legit because they can stop the run. Even though, Zeke Elliott went over 100 in this game, they can stop the run for the most part, and they can cover in the back end, and they can create turnovers. I love Landon Collins. I love these corners. I love their ability to stop the run with just the front four. They don't have to do a lot of exotic blitzing to stop runs, even though they will come up and blitz their safeties from time to time. But they're a really solid defense. Guys are where they're supposed to be. They do a great job when they're in zone of pattern matching as well. I just think this Giants defense is legit. And yes, Eric Flowers stinks. And I wasn't an Eric Flowers guy coming out of Miami, so this doesn't surprise me. I thought he was sluggish. I didn't think he moved his feet well. And what are you doing letting guys 4 or 5 yards up the field before you even contact them? Like, What kind of technique is that? Like you're asking to get beat when the guy's already bent, ran the track on you, and you haven't even touched him yet. He's already turning the corner, and now you just decide, I'm going to push him. Well, good. You pushed him right into Eli Manning. Good job. Wow. Our Argenis Luguardo also says, we have a gym in Romeo Aquara. With him, JPP, OV, Snacks, and OA, we might have a NASCAR D-line like the past. Possibly. I think you might have something. You know, the old NASCAR package, there was a little bit more speed there with OC and Strahan and Tuck. My man Kiwanuka. I don't think that these guys stack up to those guys, but that you could have something. You might have something with that. You know, when you get everybody healthy. Obviously, JPP's not going to be back this year, and we're just figuring out what's going on with Romeo Aquara. He might be legit. He may not be. We'll find out. Snacks isn't much of a pass rusher. He's more of a run stuffer. But, you know, if you can get Owa Digizua back and get him healthy, you might have something. Abraham Lopez says, Dak MVP, LOL, really stop that BS. He's not winning the MVP. You know, they like to talk that nonsense. You know, he's not winning the MVP. Minddraw says, do you you went through the same thought process with Bailey's field goal, try and hit the horizontal bar. Yeah, those things happen to the losing team. Normally, like me and my dad always used to say, when something like that happens, that team is going to lose the game. But with the Cowboys, they've overcome so many things this season that I didn't even mention that to my dad. But generally speaking, yes, when things like that, the ball hits the crossbar and bounces off, generally that's a bad omen. But Redskins kicker doinked the crossbar. They won the game. So not always is that the case, but generally speaking, yes, that is the case. Jaleel says, Eli sucked and they still won. Wow. Yeah, Eli was bad tonight, man. Like, scary bad. To the point where you're like, man, if we were playing against a better team with guys that can actually catch on the defensive side of football, we lose this game. Like, he can't keep doing this. That was some bad Eli tonight, man. Some real bad Eli. The fumble when nobody touches you with a wide open receiving end zone. Again, what are we doing here, man? You trying to throw the ball to the other team or what? Like, this is bad Eli tonight, man. Straight up. Brian Moss says, is Eli Apple having a better rookie season than fellow Buckeye Bradley Roby thus far? I wouldn't go that far. Bradley Roby's been in the league. He just had a pick six 2 weeks ago against Jacksonville for a touchdown. I wouldn't go that far. Bradley Roby's been in the league long enough to be able to say, hey, man, I've seen a lot of route combinations. You know, I know what to expect when I see this guy set up this split. You know, whereas Eli Apple's still getting his feet wet in the league. No, I wouldn't go that far. But both of them look like they're going to be really good NFL players for quite some time. I mean, I was wrong about both of them. I thought Bradley Roby, technique-wise, wasn't sound. I didn't think he located the football well enough. I thought he was too handsy. He's cleaned a lot of that stuff up since he's gotten to the league. That's what coaching can do for you. And then with Eli Apple, I didn't think he was ready. You know, again, he didn't make any plays at Ohio State. He was another one of these guys, extremely handsy down the field, didn't locate the ball enough for me. But all the tools were there with both of those guys: speed, size, length, athleticism. And you're seeing that on display at the next level. And all they needed was coaching. And both of them seem to be coached very well. And they're playing football, man, both of them. Enrique Valencia says, man, Collins is killing me every week I watch him play great. It was funny. He made this play on Jason Witten where the defensive end lets Witten go. And normally when your defensive end doesn't at least contact the tight end on a bootleg, and lets him leak out to the flats, you're asking for trouble. And I was telling my dad, I said, if that was us and Kerrigan just lets him go or Preston Smith just lets him go, one of my slow-ass safeties or one of my unaware safeties allows Witten up the sideline for 14 yards and a first down. Landon Collins comes down and lays the wood to Jason Witten, and it's like a 3-yard gain. And when he hit him, he goes sideways. Witten's a big boy, okay? You don't hit Jason Witten and he goes sideways. He usually goes forward. And he came up and cleaned that play up the way a good safety in this league is supposed to. And it was a minimal gain that looked like it was going to be 7 or 8. He turned it into a 3-yard gain. My team, that's a 14, 15-yard gain down the sideline. No responsibility. Safety's over there late, takes a bad angle, and it's a big gain. Slow-ass Jason Witten just got 15. Not on Landon Collins' watch. Man, is he good. Man, is he good. I was telling my dad, I said, man, I need one of those. Get me one of them. I need me one of those in the draft. Mondraw says, shall we say OBJ has the deadliest slants in all the NFL? Absolutely. Sign me up. I will go on record as saying no one is nastier in the league right now catching a slant than Odell Beckham Jr. I will tell you Julio Jones is second on that list. But right now, you throw a slant in stride to Odell Beckham Jr., look out. Robbie Sohal says, how do you see each of these teams faring with their next opponent? Detroit at New York and Tampa Bay at Dallas. So let's talk about that, because I alluded to the fact that both of them had some tough games coming up. But Detroit's going to be tough, and then you don't know what you're getting out of Stafford with the hurt hand. I got to watch that game to be able to assess when it happened and how he played after it. But again, the adrenaline flowing when you do something like that, you're going to get through the game. The blood sets, you calm down, and all of a sudden now the finger is a lot worse, the next day. And we've seen that with Derek Carr. He went back into the game against the Panthers, played well the next week. Then it got cold, and all of a sudden he was ineffective on Thursday Night Football. Some of that had to do with the Chiefs' defense as well, but some of that had to do with his finger as well. So that's going to affect them. The Lions don't score a ton of points anyway. So that's going to be a really interesting game to see how that turns out, because that could be a defensive struggle. 13 might win you that football game. New York and the Lions. Seriously. With those two defenses and the way those offenses look, could be last team with the ball wins. Could be Matthew Stafford taking the Lions on a game-winning field goal drive, or it could be vice versa for Eli Manning and the Giants. But I don't expect a ton of points to be scored in that game. We'll see what happens with Matthew Stafford and his hand. With the Bucs and the Cowboys, I expect the Cowboys to bounce back. The Buccaneers, they don't score enough points. They're finding ways to win, though, and that's the name of the game. Like, another game-clinching interception by Keith Tandy. That's the second game in a row that he's had a pick to seal the deal. They're finding ways to win. 16-11? Where they do that at? Obviously in Tampa. What they beat Seattle? What was that? 14-5? Like, what are these scores that we're talking about here? Like, they're finding ways to win. And so that's all that matters. And I'm anxious to see what they do against the Dallas Cowboys, because this is going to be a real challenge for them. And we're going to find out if the Buccaneers are ready for the playoffs, if they're ready for the show. I still don't think they're ready yet. Even though they won 5 in a row, this defense is playing ball. I can't wait to watch that game to see what they did to Drew Brees. That's family business anyway. They know him. So I expected that to be a low-scoring game, but 11? That's it? That's all Drew Brees can muster? I'm anxious to see what this Bucs defense is talking about, because they got it done again. So I'm expecting the Cowboys to bounce back, but Buccaneers aren't playing. And every year there's a hot team going into the playoffs. They could be that team this year. Could be the Giants. Who knows? This win could catapult them into, a little bit of a winning streak, win 4 straight to finish up. Who knows? Could be the Bucs. They're already on a 5-game winning streak. We're going to see. Argenis Luguardo says, one more, Louie. What's the missing gem to complete our offense? I would say running back, but our O-line is horrible. I would like to think that there are a couple of things the Giants could use. I think they could use Shane Vereen would help, obviously. I actually like your running back position right now. If you get Shane Vereen back, I think you got a back that does at least one back doing something particular and bringing that to the table. Whether it's Jennings being your tough in between the tackles runner, that also is great in pass pro and can catch it a little bit, or you've got Paul Perkins, who is more a natural running back, a guy that you can hand it to 15 to 20 times and expect him to get positive gains when he touches it, or Shane Vereen, who's a deadly receiver out of the backfield on third down. So I don't think your running back position is as big a need as you think it is, but the offensive line does need to be upgraded. And I think you could use an upgrade at the tight end position. Like, I think Jarrell Adams is okay. I don't think he's a game changer. Like, you need, like what you had with Shockey, what you had with Martellus Bennett. Like, you need a game changer at the tight end. Eli loves work in the middle of the field to his tight end. And Will Tye and Jarrell Adams, to me, just are guys. They don't really move the needle for me. If you can get a big-time pass catcher, and there are going to be quite a few of them in this draft, big-time pass-catching tight ends that can change the game, you get you one of them for Eli. Eli loves big targets because he loves throwing the football up. Guys with bigger catch radiuses, they clean up mistakes that guys like Eli Manning make, that guys like Cam Newton make, where they can airmail one or be errant. Guys with huge catch radiuses clean that stuff up. And Eli needs a guy with a big catch radius. I think you could use a game-changing tight end. I don't think that guy exists on your roster right now. Sean Mack says, OBJ is a wank stain, but he is fast as a cockroach on meth. I don't know what the hell a wank stain is, but he's damn sure fast as hell. I can attest to that. Mondraw says, Lions don't turn the ball over that much. If the Giants keep being a giveaway machine next Sunday, the Lions can take that W. Anything's possible. Lions don't turn it over a lot, but when they do, maybe it's a big one like the pick six that Stafford threw today that almost allowed the Bears to steal one in Detroit. They don't turn it over a lot, but I'll tell you one thing, the Lions are opportunistic, and if Eli wants to be as generous as he was tonight, he's probably going to pay for it next week. Those boys don't drop the football over there. Corey Fitterman says, so do you think the Giants and the Vikings will have wrote the blueprint on the Cowgirls? How about the Redskins? Hell, no. I don't think there's a blueprint. If you can do that, if you can execute what the Giants did, then yes, there is a blueprint. With the Vikings, what they did, they do what they do best. They mug the gaps. They come in, mug your A gap. Bluff they'll bluff a blitz. Sometimes they'd come, sometimes they won't. Kind of try to confuse the offensive line a bit, but this is a savvy Cowboys offensive line. You're not going to fool them like that. With the Giants, they came from all different angles. Zone blitz, man blitz, cover zero. They came with it all tonight. Kitchen sink. And like I said, the difference between the Giants and 95% of the other teams in the league is that they got the ability to cover man-to-man behind that blitz. So, in effect, you're forcing the issue and there's nowhere to go with the ball because it's tight man-to-man across the board. Good luck. Even Keenan Robinson, who is one of their linebackers, he can cover in space. There was a screen pass that they threw and he got his hands on the football, made it tough on him. Incomplete pass. Like, they can cover everywhere. So, they're different. Orion Langford says, the present and future of NFL sports talk. I appreciate that, man. Archangel says, I knew if any team could beat the Cowgirls, it was the Giants, but I picked the Cowgirls, shaking my head. I picked them too. I picked the Cowboys because I thought they would be out for revenge, one, and I thought, two, they would be able to run the football and dictate pace and tempo. And I thought Eli would give them some opportunities to force some turnovers, and that he did, and they didn't take advantage. So I don't think that this was anything that we didn't expect. I didn't expect the score to be as low, but give some credit to this Giants defense. Give some credit to the Cowboys defense. I mean, this was a defensive struggle, straight up. Reginald Bell says, proving my point that Romo will most likely be starting soon. Not for this Cowboys team, he won't. Not for this Cowboys team, he won't. It'll take a lot more than this kind of performance. That Dak's built up so much equity. You can't bench him unless he's hurt. That's the only way he's sitting down, is if he's hurt. Archangel says, that's why I've been saying for a while that Dak is not ready for the big show, a.k.a. playoffs. It's a whole nother ball game. And that's, I think, what's going to be the undoing of the Cowboys football team this year, at least, is that this isn't baseball. You don't just show up hot and think you're just going to run through the competition and get to the Super Bowl. You got to have experience because it's a different game. Just like NBA playoffs, it's a different game. Like, you're not just going to show up the first time in the playoffs and expect to run through all the comp and get to the NBA Finals. It don't work like that. You got to go through some tough, grueling series, a 7-game set. You got to lose and experience heartbreak to understand what it takes to win and have that motivation going into the next season and then know, okay, this is what we got to do to get over this hump. Same thing with football. You gotta experience this. The regular season can't prepare you for postseason football. Everybody's good. It's a different level. Every possession matters, not to say that it doesn't in the regular season, but everything is magnified in the playoffs. It's a different intensity. Everything is heightened. And we'll see. We'll see what happens for the Cowboys. Archangel also says, also been saying that the Hawks and the Giants scare me the most in the playoffs and don't let Green Bay make the show. Green Bay, I'm going to tell you right now, nobody wants Green Bay in the playoffs. I'm just telling you that right now because you don't want to play Aaron Rodgers. That's one. And two, I'm telling you, the Packers defensively, not as bad as you think. They get healthy. They're not as bad as you think. Nobody wants Green Bay in the playoffs because they're scary because they got Aaron Rodgers. You don't want those boys in. Archangel says, teams with more experience are scary, especially if they won Super Bowls. Green Bay, New York, Seattle knows what it takes to get to the bowl and win it all. I'm a little nervous about Seattle right now. I'm not impressed with what I've seen from them over the last month. The 2 games without Earl Thomas, haven't been impressed with them. I'm a little nervous as to what they have to offer. We're going to see. I'm gonna learn a lot about them on Thursday because if they struggle with the Rams like they always do, I'm really nervous about Seattle this season. Captain Spartan 04 says, I know Eli Manning is a future Hall of Famer, but I seriously question sometimes if he's really a Hall of I always question, is he really only reason he's going to get in is because A, his last name is Manning, and B, he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. That's it. You win the Super Bowl, and your last name is Manning. But if you look at his career stats, come on, man. They showed the fumble stat tonight. Come on, man. I'm pretty sure he's high up on that interceptions list. There's been years where Eli has led the league in interceptions. Like, literally, I'm not talking about early Eli. I'm talking about like 3 years ago. Eli might have had like 22 picks. Like, this dude is a turnover machine, man. But in the clutch, Eli will take his team down the field and score. And Eli's got 2 Super Bowl rings to prove it. So, it's unfortunate, man. Because I honestly don't know if that man's really a Hall of Fame quarterback or not. I agree with you. But he's going to get in, obviously. Archangel, teams with more experience. Okay, I already read that. Archangel also said, I don't go off regular season hype because you don't win rings September through December. Absolutely. But you got to get there first. And September through December is important. So it does make a difference, but I'm with you. You know, it's what you do in January and February that's going to help you hoist the Lombardi. But let me get to some more of these comments. Sean Mack says, Giants defense matches up with every single NFC playoff team. If the offense catches up, then it could be a New York Giants, New England Patriots Super Bowl rematch. I don't think the Patriots are making it to the Super Bowl this year. I don't. But that's another discussion for another day. Giants do match up, but I don't know if that offense will catch up or not. That's a big question mark. Captain Spartan 04 says, do we have to have Dallas back-to-back Sunday night? I know, right? But they're hot. They're America's team. They're hot. And I'm pretty sure it was better than whatever the alternative was. They flexed that game for a good reason. And that's actually going to be a really good game, man. So I'm not mad at it. But, yeah, I said, damn, more Cowboys, huh? And then what's crazy is the following week after that, Monday night versus the Lions. So you're getting 3 straight weeks of primetime Dallas Cowboys football. Can't shake those boys. Can't shake them. And if memory serves me correctly, they've been on primetime 5 weeks in a row because this is dating back to Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving versus the Redskins. The next Thursday, they were on Thursday Night Football versus the Vikings. The next week, they were here for the Giants on Sunday night. Next week, they'll be on Sunday night again for Tampa Bay. And the week after that, they'll be on Monday night for the Lions. Hey, look, when the Cowboys are hot, they're America's team. When they're hot, you're going to see their ass on TV. Best believe that. Mondraw says, a dream scenario would be the Lions winning next week, Dallas losing as well, and making the Week 16 number 1 seed game so juicy. Yeah, that would be a dream scenario, but you got to win against the Giants. I believe that's in New York. If I'm not mistaken, that might be in Detroit. I don't know exactly where that game is. I think it's in New York, though, if I'm not mistaken. And then you got to have the Cowboys lose at home to Tampa. That's a lot of if, then, but scenarios. If you're the Lions, just take care of business. You can't worry about what anybody else is doing. Just take care of business. You already got the 2 seed. Hold on to that. That could come in handy. Zano says, are the Seahawks still a team to be feared without much of a run game and Thomas out talking retirement? I'm not sure. I just said that. I don't know if I'm really that afraid of them right now. And I said that on the breakdown of their game that I did earlier, the thrashing that Green Bay handed out to them today, leads me to believe that there's a void there that can't be filled. That Earl Thomas void is real. And I got questions, and I don't know if they got enough answers for me right now. Nolan Pratt says, didn't even watch the game. Hashtag F the Cowboys. I hear you. Loud and clear. Andrew Kim says, wow, didn't see that coming. Though Dallas was playing like a different team from week 1 when they last played the Giants, Janoris Jenkins is one of the best free agent pickups that he has been. And I was flat out wrong. I was flat out wrong about Janoris Jenkins. He has been one of the steals of free agency, a great signing by the Giants. And it's proven to be worth every penny that they spent on his services. Andrew Kim says, they shut down Dez. Even when he caught the ball, he found a way to give it up and couldn't hang on to it on 4th down. That defense improved drastically from last year. And that's what all those improvements over the offseason did. The draft picks, the free agent signings, they spent a lot of resources to revamp and refurbish a really poor Giants defense from a season ago. And it's paying off dividends. It doesn't work often. I've only seen this work a handful of times. The Denver Broncos going out and purchasing a defense, essentially. When they went out and got Aqib Talib and T.J. Ward and DeMarcus Ware. They went out and bought a defense, and it worked. You know, of course, they had to draft well. They had to find guys. Chris Harris Jr., and Von Miller, they had to draft guys and find guys. But they went out and they bought themselves a defense, and it worked out for them. You know, Malik Jackson, another guy that they drafted. It worked out for them, though. You don't see it often, but it's working out for the Giants as well. Mondraw says, turnovers stopped being exciting since the second quarter, LOL. Captain Spartan says, truth speaking, the thing everyone hates about Dallas is that they're so young, mainly talking about the O-line actually. They're just a young team that's talented, period. If guys stay healthy and they keep their heads screwed on tight, that's a dangerous team for years to come. Zano says, with the late surge of the Lions defense, not including today's game, and the return of L.A.B, do the Lions have the personnel to stop Dallas's offensive line like the Vikings and the G-Men? I don't know if you can match up one-on-one with them. That's the thing. You may be able to slow down the run game, you know, but eventually they're going to pop one or they're going to stay in third and manageable. Can you stop Cole Beasley on 3rd and 5? Can you stop Jason Witten on 3rd and 4? Can you stop Des Bryant on 3rd and 6? Is Terrence Williams going to get open on 3rd and 8? That's the question. And if you don't bring pressure, can you get home with 4-man rushes? I don't know. Consistently, I don't know. If you bring pressure, can anybody outside of Big Play Slay hold up man-to-man? I don't know. And those are the questions you got to ask yourself. You know, if you're playing zone behind that, are guys doing a great job of pattern matching? Are guys going to say, well, this is my zone, I'm not going to leave here? Or are they going to run with the guy because he's in their zone and run with him until he leaves their zone and pattern match? Are they going to be football players or robots? The Giants, they're football players. A lot of these teams around the league, they're robots. Well, my drop says I'm supposed to drop in this hook zone 7 yards away from the line of scrimmage, and I'm going to just stand here because this is my zone. Yeah, and then you just allow a guy to run behind you on a 12-yard dig route, and you act as if he's not in your zone, and you ignore him, and he gets a first down on 3rd and 9. Go figure. Samak Rosario says, I think the key stat in this game was the Cowboys 1 of 15 on 3rd down. They could not keep any drives going. That is a great point. And that's any team. But that was a huge stat in this game, particularly their struggles on 3rd downs. They weren't able to sustain offense. And that's the key to any team's success offensively, is sustaining offense, getting into an offensive rhythm. You can't get into a rhythm when you're 1 of 15 on 3rd downs, because that means you're punting the football. I haven't seen them punt this much. Chris Jones was on the field quite a bit tonight. At one point, I remember them saying that the Cowboys had punted 9 times, but if you're 1 of 15, that means you probably punted anywhere from 11 to 12 times, because you know they went for it on 4th down a couple of times in this game as well. So that doesn't mean every one of those failed attempts, all 14 of them, doesn't mean it resulted in a punt, but 11 or 12 of those resulted in punts. They struggled tonight, and I think that was a key stat in the game. Their inability, and a lot of that came from the Giants applying pressure to Dak Prescott and making him uncomfortable. Enrique Valencia says, we have to revisit your Dez T.Y. stance. T.Y. is way more reliable than Dez. A lot of people don't give T.Y. Hilton the credit he deserves. Again, he plays for the Indianapolis Colts. It's easy to put that out of sight, out of mind, because he plays for the Colts, and they're not a household team. If you're not watching the NFL closely, then you don't know what T.Y. Hilton is out there doing, but his hands are more reliable than Dez. He plays in more games than Dez does. And I bet you if you go look at his stats, I think this is like the 4th time in 5 years that T.Y. Hilton is over 1,000 yards receiving. I'd venture to say that his numbers over the last 5 years trump Dez's numbers, and it's not even close. But in that same breath, Dez is way more physically imposing. You know, T.Y. is only a certain amount of things you can ask T.Y. to do and feel comfortable asking him to do them, whereas Dez can travel anywhere on the field. Dez is a red zone threat, whereas T.Y. Hilton, not so much. He's more of a deep ball guy. When he gets into the red zone, he's not a guy that's going to hurt you and get into the end zone, whereas Dez back shoulder fade all day long. Take the football away. You know, so their games aren't similar. They both bring different things to the table. It's just, what's your flavor? That's essentially what it boils down to. What are you looking for? Zano says, the same-ish injury happened to Stafford during the historic 2011 season, and he threw a lot of picks for 3 games, but he's done it before. He should be okay this time. We'll see. You know, just because he's done it before doesn't mean it's going to be the same way this time. We'll see what happens. My man Reese says, what is it going to take for you to believe in us, Lou? Seattle, Kansas City, at San Diego, now the Saints. What will it take, my friend? It'll take a win against the Cowboys next week on the road. That's what it'll take. You win against the Cowboys next week, and there is no doubt in my mind that these boys are ready for the show. And look, I understand what you did. Seattle, look, you saw what Seattle did today, so it diminishes what you did to them a few weeks ago. You still won. I don't want to take anything away from you. You sacked Russell Wilson 6 times. You forced 3 turnovers. That was an epic display of defensive prowess by your Bucs in that game. But Seattle got destroyed 38-10 today or yesterday. So it diminishes what you did. Kansas City, that's a legit W. But I look at that game and I say, if Alex Smith doesn't throw the pick to Chris Conte, they win that game. But if and buts were candy and nuts, oh, what a wonderful world it would be. Look, you won the game, and Chris Conte did make that pick. And you did go on the road and beat them. So that wasn't an impressive win. But I just want to see it. Prime time, national stage, Dallas Cowboys. Let's see it again. Let's see it when everybody. The last time you were on prime time, the Falcons bent you over, pulled your pants down, and whooped your ass on national television. Now you got a chance to redeem yourself. 1-5 in a row. Everyone's talking Bucks hot football. All right, show us. Here's your opportunity. You want us to believe? Make us believe. I'm watching. I'm ready. Make me believe. Captain Spartan 04 says the tight ends this year in the draft are going to be pretty fast. They're going to go pretty fast. A lot of teams need a tight end. I just hope the Patriots don't get O.J. Howard or else the rest of the NFL is screwed. Well, how many tight ends do they need? They got Gronk, and maybe they could be looking for the future because they know Gronk is going to break down here in the next year or two. Maybe they do say, all right, we need to get a replacement for him. But Bennett, they still got Bennett. They still got Gronk. I don't see them spending another pick on a tight end, but they could. It's not out of the realm of possibility. You know how the Patriots do. But yes, there are going to be a lot of good tight ends, and I do think they're going to go fast. I agree with you. Reese says, we're here to stay. Best get out of our way. Hey, I love the confidence, man. He went from, I don't know who this team is, to telling everybody, move, bitch. Get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. So he's confident now. Reed is drinking the Bucks juice, and he's drunk. Okay. I hear you, man. Cheers. Put your cup up. Toast. Toast to you and your Bucks, man. Cheers. Go ahead and knock that back, man. You drunk. You drunk right now. It's all good, though. Okay. All right. Think we might have reached the end. Mondraw says, I don't think they are the same December Cowboys. Do you? Nah. Not under like how they were with Tony Romo, where they would crumble at the end of the season. I don't think that's the case. But that's it. No more comments, man. That was great participation by you guys. I appreciate you guys watching and chiming in. Giants get it done 10-7 defensive struggle. Both teams played outstanding defense. Cowboys missed some opportunities to take this football game. Eli Manning tried to give the football game away, and the Cowboys simply did not want to accept the gift that keeps on giving, which is Eli Manning throwing the football. However, the Giants did make a couple of plays in this game, none bigger than the Odell Beckham Jr. 61-yard slant to the crib, which ended up being the game-winning score. The defense made play after play after play. 1 of 15 on third down was the Cowboys in this game. That was the difference. They weren't able to convert, as they've been able to do all season with Cole Beasley or Dez Bryant or Jason Witten. That wasn't the case tonight. On third downs, the Giants came with pressure, got after Dak Prescott, made him uncomfortable, and forced him to be inaccurate, or even worse, forced him to make some poor decisions that were picked off. Dez Bryant slips on a slant. It's intercepted. Leon Hall back in coverage as he's supposed to be. And Dez, I don't know what he was doing, but he threw it into double coverage. I don't think Dez thought the football was coming to him because he was double covered. In any event, it's picked off. That's what pressure can do. It can force your quarterback, your young rookie quarterback, that sometimes we forget he's a rookie because he's played so well and played so mature and poised for his age that, yes, he is in fact a rookie. And tonight, he looked as such versus this Giants aggressive defense. Giants get it done 10-7, go to 9-4 on the season. They didn't lock up a playoff berth, but they've taken a gigantic step to being a playoff team in 2016 with this victory. They also give themselves an outside shot at winning the NFC East, albeit a long one. It is now a shot nonetheless. Cowboys, 11-game winning streak snapped by the team that has beaten them on the season twice now. The only 2 victories over the Cowboys this season, both to the same New York Football Giants. And so now the Cowboys have to pick up the pieces, go back on Sunday night yet again, this time at home versus the Bucks, and see if they can't get back to their winning ways. Everything they want is still in front of them. NFC East still in front of them. Number 1 seed in the NFC, still in front of them. They just simply have to win a couple of ball games, and they will have all of that clinched if they do so. So, tough night for the Cowboys. Tough night for the offense. The defense actually played really well. Sean Lee, outstanding. Some big plays were made on that side of the football for the Cowboys, but not enough on the offensive side, which has been rare for the Cowboys this season, as they don't get it done and lose 10-7 and drop to 11-2 on the season. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room on the Louie Tee Network. Lockdown, or this is not lockdown coverage, it's actually Sunday Night Football overtime. Some lockdown coverage may be coming your way a little bit later on. I may go to bed, I may not. We'll see what happens. But in any event, remember, we're changing the game one live feed at a time. Appreciate you guys joining me. Appreciate you guys commenting. Appreciate you guys watching. Got many more games to break down from week number 14 in the Sunday slate. So join me tomorrow as I break down, or today I should say, as I break down every game on lockdown coverage. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for joining me. God bless and good night. Have a good one.
Broncos won the Super Bowl when Peyton Manning retired. 49ers won 5 games and Tom Sula got fired. RG's in Cleveland and my Rams hit the West Coast. Be sleepless in Seattle cause that 12-man ain't beast mode. Oh yeah, I knew it was something I forgot to mention. Yeah, old Tom Brady about to get that suspension. Yeah, I know the Pats fans probably think that's whack. Yeah, but at the end of the day, your balls was flat. It's that time again. It's that time again to go hard in the offseason, cause we trying to win. We gon' go so hard, we don't take no